Hello students, today we are going to learn about Introduction to World Wide Web and HTML Part 1. This is one of the important topics of Unit 5, that is Introduction to MATLAB and HTML from our Computer Fundamental subject. Topics to be covered in Introduction to HTML is Introduction to World Wide Web, Basic structure of an HTML document, Creating an HTML document, Introduction to elements of HTML, working with text, list in HTML, hyperlinks and images in HTML. What is World Wide Web? The World Wide Web today is distributed client-server service, in which a client using a browser can access a service using a server. However, the provided service is distributed over many locations called sites. The World Wide Web, also known as WWW and the web, is an information space or information system where documents and other web resources are identified by uniform resource locators, which may be interlinked by hypertext links and accessible via the internet. Information systems are formal, socio-technical, organizational system designed to collect, process, store and distribute information. The basic elements of WWW are Basic World Wide Web Model, Universal Resource Identifies, Hypertext Transfer Protocol and Hypertext Markup Language. This is a basic World Wide Web model. The basic idea behind the World Wide Web base is on a client-server application. This is called as client-server application. And hypertext document. Here the document are of three types, that is static, dynamic and active document. Here in a diagram we can see the client is requesting for web page to the server. This request is proceed with the help of HTTP protocol, which is also referred as a HTTP request packet, and server will respond back to the client, which is also referred as by using HTTP response packet, and hence web page is get loaded into the client's web browser. Basically it is a client request and response service which is handled by the protocol HTTP. Here the web page is referred as a document which is designed or scripted in hypertext markup language. The URL or URI plays a very important role to locate the particular resource. Here resource is referred as particular web page location or particular server. Here web page is written in the HTML format. What is Universal Resource Identifiers? Okay, a URI is a string of characters used to identify a resource on the internet either by location or by name or both. Here we are going to learn the two terms, that is Uniform Resource Locator and Uniform Resource Name. Uniform Resource Identifier. Now suppose if you want to locate any person in the world, so there are two methods by which we can locate, by the location or by his name. URI that specifies the location is nothing but URL. URI that specifies the name is nothing but the URN. Here you are going to identify the resource or someone by name or location or both. URI that specifies the name and the location both, that is nothing but URI. Now what is URL? URL is a string of characters that identifies a particular resource, basically termed as web address. It is commonly address of any particular page or website or any resource. Uniform Resource Name is name of the resource. If we consider URI can specify the name or the location of the resources we are looking for, URL is just the location and URN indicates the name. Then technically URI is basically URL or URN, that is Uniform Resource Location or Uniform Resource Name. The most common form of URI is the Uniform Resource Locator, frequently referred to informally as a web address. More rarely seen usage of URN. Here URL consists of two required components, main required components, that is protocol and the host, that is nothing but the domain name. Protocol is nothing but the HTTP or FTP protocol. Here the domain name is nothing but the google.co.in or www.ac.in. Other than that, we are having the optional component, that is the path, port and other components like string, fragments, etc. Path is nothing but the exact location of particular file, and port here is nothing but like 8080, 8090, etc. Next topic is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that is also called as HTTP. It is most used internet protocol in the world. It is an application layer protocol that allows web-based application to communicate and exchange the data. It is messenger of the web. It is a TCP/IP based protocol. It is a protocol used mainly to access data on the World Wide Web. HTTP functions as a combination of FTP and SMTP. It uses a port number 80. It is used to deliver the content, for example like image, videos, audios, documents, etc. The HTTP protocol is built on a client-server model, where the client initiates a request and the server replies with a response. Three important things about the HTTP. That is connectionless protocol. It is used to deliver any sort of data, or it is a stateless protocol. HTTP is connectionless protocol. That means after making the request by both the computer, that is client and server, they are getting disconnected from each other. Here in the delivery of any sort of data, as long as two computers are able to read it, it can be of any form. As mentioned above, it can be an image, video, audio, or any text document or any HTML document. Stateless protocol. It is nothing but for every new connection, both the computers has to establish the connection, considered as the connection handle as the very first one. At each new one, they have to establish the connection. What is Hypertext Markup Language? The Hypertext Markup Language, that is also stands for HTML, is the user interface to create information on the World Wide Web. HTML is defined to be the hypertext language of communication which actually flows over the network. There is no requirement that files are stored in HTML. Server may store files in any other formats and generate a HTML on the fly upon a client request. This gives the possibility of having virtual document instead of static document on rapidly changing information like weather, etc. HTML can be used to represent for hypertext news, mail, online documentation, collaborative hypermedia, menus and options, database query results, simple structured document with the inline multimedia elements like images, audio and movie, URL, URI or URL links to other resources on the internet. Introduction to HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which is the most widely used language on web to develop web pages. It links within and among web documents, connect one document to another. What is HTML? HTML standards are developed under the authority of www HTML is the set of markup symbols or codes inserted in a file intended for display on World Wide Web browser. The markup tells the web browser how to display a web pages, text, images, sound and video files for the user. The individual markup codes are referred to as elements, but many people also refer to them as tags. HTML document structure. HTML document is divided into two major parts, that is head and body. HTML document contains text, that is content of the page. HTML uses the following file extension or suffix to save the file .html or .htm. It uses the embedded tags that provides the instruction for the structure and appearance of the content. The HTML document is divided into two major parts, that is head and body. Head contains information about the document, that is title of the page, which appears at the top of the browser window, and meta tags used to describe the content that is used by search engines. Second is the body, that contains the actual content of the document. This is the part that will be displayed in the browser window. See, here is one example of HTML document. HTML document begins with and end with HTML tags, that is HTML in the angular bracket, and slash is used to close the HTML tag. Here we are having the two section, head section and body section. As similar to the HTML, we are having the opening of head and closing of the head. This is called as head tag. Okay, similarly we are having a body, opening of the body and closing of the body. This is called as body tag. Here the tags plays a very important role. Whether it is starting tag or ending of tag, it plays a very important role. It mentions or it is used to show the contents on the web page, how it's going to look like. Okay, so that is the use of tag. Now what is meant by HTML tags? HTML tags are element names surrounded by the angle bracket. We are having the opening tag name and closing tag name. Here the slash is used to close, and here we can write the content. HTML tags normally comes in pairs, like this is for paragraph, starting and closing tag. The first tag in a pair is the start tag. The second tag is the end tag. The end tag is written like the start tag, but with a forward slash inserted before the tag name. See here, starting tag and end tag both are similar, only the slash is there, forward slash is there before the tag name. Okay, the starting tag is also called as opening tag, and the end tag is also called the closing tags. Okay, these are the various references used to generate this video. Now today we have covered the topic, that is Introduction to HTML Part 1. In the next lecture we will see how to create any page, a web page, and we will see it on the web browser. Okay, thank you for watching this video.